If you search today for mega projects in the African continent, you would most probably find out that its engineering or construction is managed by Chinese companies. Today, China is the largest commercial associate in Africa, even exceeding its participation in the commercial market in its home Asia in terms of international contract acquisition for China. What is behind this Chinese obsession with Africa? According to the International Monetary Fund, Africa is the second fastest growing zone in the world today, as its economy is expected to reach $5 trillion by the year 2050, and the average family consumption would increase by 3.5% annually to reach $2.1 trillion. Such a rapid growth represents a serious challenge to Africa, who will be required to spend at least $170 billion every year in order to fulfill its infrastructural needs, according to the Bank of African Development. This also represents economic opportunities for countries from outside Africa who would be willing to invest billions to develop the African infrastructure. No country responded to the African call for development like China did, as the Chinese commercial exchange with Africa exceeds $200 billion annually. In addition to having more than 10,000 companies that are owned by the Chinese government operating across Africa, with number expected to increase in the coming years. But what is the secret behind this love relationship between China and Africa? The secret is pure politics. Gaining African countries as allies to China strengthen its international position on the political theater as its influence. Furthermore, it supports China's position against the United States. This Chinese strategy is nothing new. It returns back to 1949, when the ruling Communist Party took power in China for the first time. Most countries in the world refused to recognize the new Chinese government then and favored the previous regime. China began to pressure African countries back then to gain international recognition until they eventually recognized the new Chinese government one by one. The Chinese government paid her dues back to Africa through its involvement in the construction of rail networks and hospitals and universities. Also, Africa had all what China needed, which was half the world's stock of manganese, a major component involved in the production of steel, in addition to huge quantities of coltan, which is essential for the manufacturing process of electronic chips. China seized a golden opportunity to fill the political gap that colonizing countries left in terms of extraction of the generous natural resources buried inside the lands of Africa. Today, over one-third of the imported oil by China and over 22% of its imports of cotton come straight from Africa. On the other side, African leaders highly benefit from strong ties with China through the development of their country's infrastructure and the positive impact of the circulated money by China within Africa. Still, in its conquest to secure a brighter future, Africa burdens itself with huge amounts of debt to China that it may not be able to settle soon. Some politicians call this policy as the debt trap, which resembles a modern form of occupation and colonization. If you like this video and you wish to learn more, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Tell us what you think in the comments below.